Hi, everybody. This is Jerry Garrettson, Tabea Law. We're going to be talking about Supreme Court decision that was just passed down a few months ago, and it's Patel versus Garland. And you want to make sure you hear this, how it impacts immigration law, and not only stay on this video, but go ahead and listen all the way through at the end. I'm going to have special information for you, so you want to stay on this whole video. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. This is Jerry Garrettson, Tabea Law. Today we're going to talk about a Supreme Court decision that was handed down recently that impacts immigration law in a big way. But before I get there, I want to remind everybody to go ahead and subscribe, like, and sign up for the notification. Hit that little bell right there, and you'll get notifications of future videos. And sure love to have you do that so you can follow this program. You can see the important updates that happen in immigration law and learn as we go. Let me be your guide, your person, your inside guy in the immigration world. And so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we have Patel versus Garland. And this case was handed down back in May. And here's the crux of the case. We have a traditional rule in federal courts where lower courts, their decisions are not reviewable unless it is a question of a law or constitution. And if it's just an appeal that is brought up on just facts, just the facts of the case, not the law, not a question of law or constitution, then the courts are not allowed to take those cases. They're not allowed to review. You cannot appeal a judgment to a higher court. So in other words, in the immigration world, which actually the immigration courts are not Article 3, not your typical courts that you think of. The Article 3 is the Supreme Court, and then the lower courts, the appellate courts, the federal courts, and then down on all the way through the system. Article 2 courts are executive branch. So this is where you have the Department of Homeland Security. And under the Department of Homeland Security, you have the USCIS, immigration. And you have, under this regime, under the executive branch, you have Article 2 courts. Okay? So this is where you have immigration courts and people with immigration issues, people that are getting removed from the country or whatever. They're claiming asylum. They go through these Article 2 courts. And so if there's a ruling that somebody wants to appeal that they're not happy with at that level, the immigration court through the Article 2, the question is, can they go to a higher court, a federal court, an Article 3 court? And generally the answer is no, they can't. Now with Patel, they looked at that question. They looked at the question of, is a immigration scenario. In our case, it was Patel himself was a immigrant who came over here illegally, and then after being here for a while, he decided to try to adjust his status and get a green card, which technically he didn't have any status because he came here illegally, but he was asking the government to waive that, to give him a green card. Well, the government started looking at that, and they said, well, here, before we even get to the substance of the question, you signed, you got a driver's license, evidently, and on there you signed somewhere where there's a voter or something on that driver's license application where you claim to be a U.S. citizen. And that's a problem, and that's fraud. So we're going to deny your petition here. So before I even get more into that, let me go ahead and remind everybody to please subscribe to this channel, and you can do that. Well, subscribe and then also hit that little bell so that you can get notifications of future videos, and also like us if you like us. All right. So before they even got to the substance, they saw that he committed this fraud, so they denied the application to get his green card. Well, he didn't like that. he wanted to appeal, and it went up to, I think it was the 11th Circuit, and they looked at it and they said, well, yeah, this was, there was some error here, and we're going to reverse that. Well, the Supreme Court took this case and they said, hey, 11th Circuit, you weren't even supposed to review this case because it was a factual basis. The factual basis being that Patel signed or clicked off a box that said that he was a U.S. citizen and he wasn't. Well, that's factual. And so you're not supposed to be reviewing cases on a factual case on a basis. You're supposed to be reviewing lower court cases only on the law, if it's a question of law, or if it's a question involving the Constitution. And that's not what happened. Well, Patel took a look at this, and they decided, and here we are with, if you want to get into politics real quick, you have two Trump-appointed justices, Justice Gorsuch and Justice Barrett, which were on the other opposite sides of the question here. Okay, so you have Barrett writing the majority position, saying that you can't review this decision, 11th Circuit, and because it's on a question of fact, not on federal law or not on the Constitution. Therefore, we're overturning your ruling, and we're telling the immigration court that their decision to deny the application stands. Okay, then you have Gorsuch, right, another Trump appointee, on the other side saying, no, this is a exception to the rule because the facts of the case was so egregious that it calls for justice. It calls for an exception to the rule, saying, yeah, we know it's not a federal question. Yeah, we know it's not on the Constitution, but it is such an egregious mistake that we want you to review this anyways, higher court, 11th Circuit, and let us know if this merits you to overturn or if we can get some relief here. So Gorsuch was on the other side, on the dissenting opinion, writing that there are exceptions to a rule to this federal or Constitution question, and that higher courts should be able to take out decisions that are obviously egregious, that it's a blunder, it's a mistake, and the higher court ought to have the opportunity to say, no, this is wrong, we're going to overturn this decision. And that was his dissenting view. So here's the deal. How does this, and this is the end of our session here, how does this impact you in your immigration world? Well, because of this decision, Patel, it makes it harder for immigrants to get redress in our legal system, or to have another court look at a decision that was unfavorable to them and get a second opinion, basically, in the law. And because of this decision, that sets that back. That says, no, unless it's on a purely, unless a decision was made on a purely legal, or unless you're appealing it on purely legal or constitutional grounds, we're not going to hear it. We're not going to allow another court to hear it. So it is what it is. At this point, it's going to be harder for your cases to be heard by a higher court because of Patel. All right, let me remind everybody, if you like this video, go ahead and like it. If you want to subscribe, we'd love to have you subscribing to this channel. And go ahead and hit that little bell up there, and that's going to notify you when we have a new video. All right, you have a super day, and we'll talk to you guys soon.